Satnam, everybody. Satnam, Satnam. How are you today? Mataji here from the Mataji Sanctuary and a very, very windy Las Vegas. It is the 11th day of the moon, and I want to teach you all and share with you all some sacred science and some sacred, not really well-known information. I am very dedicated to sharing these ancient teachings, like what people have been kept hidden from or denied to receive. And it's very much my mission and my destiny and my dharmic path, for that matter, to bring you this information to wake you up and remember, because you've got it, it's just you've forgotten, most likely. So today is the 11th day of the moon, as I mentioned, and how we count that is on the new moon. Now, it's very important for you to understand what's happening on this 11th day. Hi, Kobe. Because a lot is happening. It's a heightened day of sensitivity. And it is known in Sanskrit as the Ekadashi. It's considered one of the most powerful points in the moon's orbit. So I'm going to share with you about in these various traditions of Vedic astrology and yoga. This day is viewed as a tipping point. It's a tipping point for both the physical body and the mind. This day is believed to influence you. Let's talk about first the effects on the body. So the 11th lunar day is traditionally linked to detoxification and physiological reset. The fluid balance, which our bodies are primarily made of water. We're at least 70% water. And so the moon has a gravitational pull and influence on the tides of your internal waters in that regards. So just as the moon, as I explained, exerts this gravitational pull on the tides, it's believed to affect the inner tides, the fluids of the human body. So on the 11th day, this is a pressure that is built up to a stage on this very specific 11th day platform, where the body can most easily release toxins. On the spine, in some esoteric traditions, the 11th day is associated with the spine. It's considered a favorable time for physical exercises that improve flexibility and alignment. And then digestive rest. This is a really popular day and a very useful day, productive day for fasting. The science behind this tradition suggests that giving the digestive system a break about every 15 days, the 11th day of both the waxing and the waning moon, allows for autophagy. That's a new word for me. Anyway, it's what that word means is it's a process where cells clean out damaged components. So it's a detoxification on a cellular level. And then a lot of times you have energy burst. Some people report sudden surges of physical strength or second winds, although if you're not careful, you'll overexert yourself. And then the effects on your psyche. So the body will follow the mind. So make sure that you pay attention to this part as well, because it's equally as important. So psychologically, the 11th day is often described as a day of intensity, where the mind is more sensitive to its surroundings. Mental clarity versus chaos. This day acts as a magnifier. So if you're focused, if you're meditating regularly, if you have some sort of a discipline where you're keeping your subconscious mind field cleaned and managed, then you may experience illuminations or deep insights into your life's path. However, if you're unfocused, this higher energy can manifest as unpredictability, anxiety, or shying from side to side emotionally. We are in Gemini season right now too, the twins, so your communication would definitely be affected by that. And you do have heightened desires on this day. In Vedic psychology, the 11th house and the 11th day are linked to desire. So you might find yourself feeling more ambitious or hungry for success, which can lead to frustration if those desires aren't grounded in reality. Emotional sensitivity, it's a common time for emotional purging. People often find themselves more reflective or prone to sudden shifts in mood as the mind prepares for the upcoming full or new moon. All right, so again, we're counting this from the new moon forward. So you can count it from the 11th day of the full moon as well. So pay attention to your lunar calendar where you are and count that particular day as day one of either the full moon or day one of the new moon. In this case, we're going with the new moon. We like to work with the energy of the new moon because it's building the energy. It's creating something new, and we're riding this beautiful wave of creativity. Whereas in the full moon, it's a waning of energy, so it's a releasing. And often, we focus on this too, but in the releasing aspect, it's what is it that I need to clean up and let go of? What have I got too much of? What do I need to let go of so that I can make space for when the moon goes full, and then I can create something more to go into that new space that's been created. It's all about keeping it balanced. So today what I've done, yesterday I was feeling this 11th day of the moon very strongly, so I really didn't eat anything all day. I just drank a lot of coconut water, and I've recently discovered this amazing banana water. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with banana water. So I'm drinking a lot of that because I do work out. I lift weights, do Pilates class. I'm also just very physically active, and I have my yoga practice, which does have some physical exertion to it. And I do all of my yoga practice is a daily practice, and I do about 4 days a week of this other physical training, which is really, really good for me, I might add. I'm also in a writing mode. I'm feeling very inspired to do writing. And yeah, it's good. It's very good. And I just recently was made privy to receive some powerful information on a meditation that involves sound. And I'm absolutely bonkers about sound, any kind of sound that's pleasing to me and makes me feel really, really positively charged. Sound is very, very important to me. This is why I listen to mantras 24/7. This is why I'm really involved in how to produce these sounds myself personally, how it is that I'm understanding that my word is a projected sound, and I stand by my word. If I'm saying that I'm going to be doing something and I vocalize that, I sure as heck better complete it. But I just also was made aware that sound has a descriptive measurement to it known as a phonon. So light has a descriptive measurement of photon, and it has a positive mass, so it is coming down. It's affected by gravity. A phonon measurement is negative mass, and so there's no sense of gravity to it. It just goes. When you strike the gong, for example, that one strike vibration can move through time and space for up to 40 years. It's remarkable how powerful sound is. And, unfortunately, sound is being used as to be weaponized, but we use it here only for constructive, positive creation and healing. You see all this behind me? So this is why we have this setup tonight. Jen and I are going to be doing an amazing sound bath and hands-on Reiki experience where we invite you to come on this 11th day of the moon. And we don't want you to talk. We don't want you to have to do anything except just show up. We start at 6 p.m. It's in person only. We go to 7:30. And it's on our website, thematajisanctuary.com. If you want to come, you need to sign up ahead so we can plan on having your space ready for you. But it is a very, very powerful time for us to be offering on this 11th day of the moon. And we're going to be doing this every single month on the 11th day of the new moon. So watch for us to be posting this, and maybe you could even put it into your own awareness and count the first day of the new moon and count to the 11th day and do something special wherever you might be on this planet. One more thing I want to talk about is I've been thinking a lot about how hungry people are for spaces that feel real. And when you come into this Mataji sanctuary, you're coming into my auric field. You're coming into a space where I'm holding you very lovingly, very much heart-centered, and in a very healing way. And everything that is in this space has been created to support my auric field to be able to provide that sense of sanctuary for you. And Jen is the same way. Her auric field also is very much in tune to this space. I mean, Jen and I have been working together for going on 3 years now. We both are contributing our energy very, very specifically to this space. It's really real. When you pull up outside and park, you feel it. So when you're coming into these opportunities to have the experience of coming into a space that is not only is real, but it feels real, because it is. Real in the sense that it's a sacred, safe space. And you can just relax. That's a really big deal. And you know, in this world of endless scrolling, information overload, algorithms, division, disconnection, I'm pretty accurate to say that people are really craving experiences where they can actually feel themselves again. Spaces where the nervous system softens, spaces where people can gather in ritual, and we do a lot of ritual here. Everything that we're doing tonight is very ritual based. Spaces that feel coherent, sacred, and of course, deeply human. So we heal together, we remember together. In this space, a lot of us have really forgotten what is something that is quite ancient and has been around since the dawn of time, quite frankly. We have gathered for years, people, humans, have gathered for thousands of years. We've been in places where we gather to remember, around fires, around kitchen tables, under moonlight, grief, celebration, transition, ceremony, and prayer. Last year, I had the great fortune to go to Stonehenge and go into that area of England where the people had traveled for many, many miles for hundreds, thousands of years to gather in these sacred rituals around the winter solstice. So this is pretty much the same traditions that we're bringing forward again for us to experience in these modern times. And you don't have to travel all the way to England. You can just come right here into our sanctuary here in the heart of Las Vegas. So we do hope that you can come and join us. I'm going to share some breathing technique, and then I'm going to sign off. Of course, if you have questions, I'm here to answer. But you'll just take your hands and place them in Gyan Mudra, this is your Jupiter energy, your wisdom, and then this is Mars, the activation of it. So you'll just place your hands in this circle of wisdom, have them on your knees. They can either be palms up or down, doesn't matter. But do close the eyes and just go into that internal sense of the heart beating, the rhythm of you, sensing that softening of all the tidal rhythms within you. And we're going to breathe through what I call the taco tongue. So we're going to make a curled tongue, and we'll breathe deeply in through that tongue, and then we'll slowly exhale through the nose. And this is a beautiful detoxification breath. We're just going to do 11 rounds. And this breath immediately will cool you. If you've got a real fiery mind, you never want to have a fiery mind. You always want to have a cool head. You want to have a warm belly, a fiery belly, but you want to have a cool head. So this helps you to move into that balance, which is a lot healthier for you. So we'll do 11 rounds of breathing in deeply, through the tongue like a straw. And then we'll close the mouth, pull the tongue in, and slowly with the same amount of inhale ratio, we'll breathe out the nose, okay? Let's try it. So closing the eyes, let them focus up here at the third eye. And just breathe a few times now through the nose in a normal pattern. Just noticing the cooling and calming effect that this breath immediately gives you. This is one of my daily practices of 26 times in the morning, 26 times at night. If you're really struggling with a lot of anxiety and a lot of over excessive heat in the body, you can do 3 minutes in the morning and 3 minutes at night. Good. So now, and peace be with you until we meet again in the light of our hearts, and may peace prevail on earth. So now, go in beauty.